What's going through his mind, I wonder, as he just counts down the laps, nursing the engine, listening for any signs of trouble. Alonso seems to have settled for second place in the Renault. Raikkonen seems comfortable in third. Hamilton seems comfortable in fourth. They all seem pretty comfortable, frankly. The only question mark is whether Vettel's going to attack Hamilton, which I think he is.
There may be rain coming, Fernando. There may be rain. We need to keep the advantage to Raikkonen. Keep the gap to Raikkonen.
There you go. We've had pretty much everything here this afternoon in this final Grand Prix of 2008. And we had rain, a sudden unexpected shower of rain just before the start, which threw preparations into chaos. And everyone started on the wet tyre, had to switch to the dries, and it was interesting to see when they did that. The race had settled into a bit of a pattern. The only question mark, with Massa leading, Alonso second, Raikkonen third, Hamilton fourth and Vettel fifth, is whether Vettel was going to try to get a better position and run up the inside of Hamilton, try and pass him for that fourth place. He's been closing him down, but Hamilton has responded. I don't think he really wants to get into a battle with Vettel in the closing stage of this Grand Prix. Hamilton is at the stage where he's listening for every rev of his engine, every vibration. Any kind of mechanical failure now would rob him of a world championship with 14 laps to go, and he certainly doesn't want to get knocked off the racetrack by 21-year-old Sebastian Vettel.
Yes, Hamilton's picked his pace up a little bit just to keep matching Vettel, really punch for punch there, and that's quite important to maintain that fourth place. All he wants is a really boring run to the end of the Grand Prix. Is the rain going to affect that? That's the last thing they all need.
Good rain in 10 minutes. Good rain in 10 minutes.
Stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned, because this is a long way from over. And we've seen here in the past those long kinks leading up to the pit straight. If it starts raining through there and you're on dry tyres, we've seen some massive accidents and incidents through there. And you know, 13 laps is what, 15 minutes or something.
Yeah,
so
it's about 7 or 8 laps from now, isn't it? Lapping at 1 minute 14. And well, we've seen that here before. I remember back in 1991, Ayrton Senna and Riccardo Patrese, it started to rain in the very closing stage of the Grand Prix. That certainly brought some spice. It's happened other times as well, and that's given a level of anxiety to the McLaren team they could really have done without. Some people will gamble, you see, in the closing stages, maybe not even come in for the intermediate tyre. Hamilton can't take the risk, neither really can Massa, frankly, because the first car that's going to suffer as the rain starts to fall is the Ferrari rather than the McLaren, based on what we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, but the Ferrari's carrying more downforce here this weekend, and but remember what happened in Spa. Those that did pit just came steaming through, didn't they, at the end, and were taking 4 and 5 places on the last lap, Alonso being one of them. And well, that's such a gamble. There's nothing, it's no more than casino time at that, as to whether you can keep it together on the racetrack if it does start to spit with rain, or whether you're better to get rid of the risk and put another set of the intermediate tyres on.
So, well, it's all up in the air then if it starts to rain, and we've seen already how suddenly it comes. Those of you who've watched the entire broadcast with us here on F1 ITV will know we're all calmly looking at the sun glinting off the buildings in downtown Sao Paulo. Next thing you know, there's a torrential downpour on the start line grid. But it didn't rain down here, down at turn 4. It was the strangest little rain shower, and who knows where it'll strike next.
And what you're saying there is important, because it actually depends where you are on the racetrack when the rain comes as well. If you're anywhere near, if you've just passed the pit lane, you're going to lose 3 minutes if it just starts hailing like it was at the beginning of the race. So it is luck of the draw in that respect too. Ted?
I'm watching the weather coming in. It's dark clouds at the moment, but no rain as I speak. But the weather is, as you say, Martin, coming in from the main straight, coming in actually from the last corner. So if it does pour, it's going to pour on the main straight first. It's not going to affect the rest of the circuit, turn 4 and the twisty stuff. And just remembering what happened at Spa, of course, Lewis Hamilton had good heat in his tyres, and he stayed on the slicks to the end.
That's absolutely right, and got himself into one heck of a scrap with Kimi Raikkonen, who couldn't keep the Ferrari pointing in a straight line in the same conditions. So that was as recently as early September. Ferrari have done some work with their car. They sprayed their Mugello test track, and did a bit of running, trying to keep the temperature in the brakes and the tyres. But it's just basically a fundamental characteristic of the way the two cars are designed. The Ferrari is just more gentle on its tyres. It just doesn't dig into the tarmac as much as the McLaren does. It's an advantage on hot days when you need to get good tyre usage, a disadvantage on days when it starts to sprinkle with rain.
Raikkonen hauling Alonso in. He's down to just 2.3 seconds. Alonso quite slow in this phase. Hamilton's put the gap out to Vettel to 1.2 seconds now. And Alonso falling back into the clutches of Kimi Raikkonen. Can he make it a Ferrari 1-2? Can they all make it to the end of the Grand Prix before any further rain? On board with Massa. He grew up around here. His early karting career was just the other side of the wall in turn 3 and 4. That's his brother watching closely. What can they do? He's driven superbly. 10 laps remaining, but Hamilton has also driven a very mature race indeed. And as you said earlier, James, they've both done exactly what they had to do. And Hamilton's points advantage is what's making the difference at the moment.
Mansur Ojeh's wife Kathy there, was of the McLaren setup. Mansur Ojeh, one of the partners in McLaren, along with Ron Dennis and the Daimler Group, which owns Mercedes-Benz. Well, I said at the beginning that all the hard work had been done. The results were what they were. It was really all down to luck and whose side the luck was on. Massa needed some luck, and he needed Hamilton to have some bad luck, as he did last year. So far, the pattern has been set. Both drivers have traded punch for punch, doing exactly the things that they needed to do. Alonso has nicked some positions by being wily and frankly being the best driver pound for pound in Formula 1 at the moment. You'd expect no less from him. Raikkonen has had a quiet afternoon but has done the job Ferrari wanted of him. Is Lady Luck going to intervene and decide the outcome of this World Championship in the form of a sudden late rain shower?
Raikkonen about 1.5 seconds adrift of Alonso now, who's got his face full of Bourdais in the Toro Rosso. Bourdais will have to yield, he's being lapped, and Raikkonen steams in behind him. Raikkonen fancies that second place. Any idea of backing Hamilton up into the pack has gone away, because the pack's not close enough to Hamilton. So Raikkonen has got back on it, and he fancies second place.
Hamilton has picked his pace up a little bit now. He's just a couple of tenths of a second a lap slower than Felipe Massa, but he's 26 seconds behind him on the racetrack. And who's behind him is Vettel. That last lap a shade faster than Hamilton. Still not close enough to challenge. There is Martin Whitmarsh, who runs the McLaren team. Ron Dennis, the chairman and CEO of that group, and a lot of people expecting that, or wondering whether Ron Dennis might decide to step down should Lewis Hamilton win this world title. In effect, Dennis would feel his work had been done, possibly.
Nico, as soon as you feel rain on your visor, let us know, we'll call you in for change of tyres.
Well, when you're Nico Rosberg and you're 12th and you remember what happened in Spa in Belgium, those who pitted early for the wet tyre managed to pick up heaps of places. It's now starting to rain in the paddock. There is Luis Massa, the father of Felipe Massa, who took on extra jobs to pay for his son's racing. The spots of rain begin to fall on the camera lenses, and we'll look for the first signs of the handling and grip beginning to go away from the cars on the racetrack. Here comes Hamilton, just 8 laps to go in this Grand Prix.
0.6 seconds ahead of Vettel. Vettel beginning to push again, and Hamilton's not going to fancy much of that if he starts getting rain streaming off his visor at 190 miles an hour. It always looks like it's raining more than it is. Nick Hamilton out in the pit lane to check it out for himself, and I don't know what he can see, but his brother can see Sebastian Vettel coming at him.
A few spots falling now, on the main straight.
Yeah, but how heavy? Is it going to be heavy like it was just before the start, or is it going to be like what we had around 11 o'clock this morning, which frankly didn't amount to very much? It rained for 30 seconds to a minute or so, and that was all. Vettel now right up onto the back of the gearbox of Lewis Hamilton. 7 laps only to go.
Well, Hamilton can't afford a precautionary stop if it does start to rain, because Glock is close enough to him to be ahead of him, and so he can't just go super cautious, and of course Glock will have to be struggling with a wet track as well. At the moment, it's nowhere near any thoughts of getting rid of those dry tyres. 7 to go.
So the pressure will begin to mount once those spots of rain start to become felt. A big call has to be made on the Ferrari timing wall, because remember, Massa has to win this race to have any chance of being the world champion, unless Hamilton finishes well outside the points. On board with Sebastian Vettel, just lifting his fingers up there, just giving him a little stretch. It's been a long race. We're an hour and 40 minutes into this Grand Prix. The tight grip on the steering wheel, the cramp in the fingers, and Vettel just preparing himself for what may be a little run at Lewis Hamilton. Look at the rain beginning to fall now. In comes Nick Heidfeld. Nothing to lose from 10th in the BMW. Nothing to lose at all. Why not? On go the wets. This is what he did in Spa in Belgium, if you recall, and picked up, I believe, a podium there as a result of it. Out he goes. Here's the scrap for second place. Fernando Alonso, 2 times world champion at the wheel of the Renault, versus the reigning world champion, Kimi Räikkönen, a Ferrari.
How much tension do you need? Those towards the back of the field are starting to pit. There it is. They're all going to have to come in for the intermediate, surely. What a difficult decision for Massa and Hamilton.
A championship hangs on it. The lap times at the moment are steady. They haven't gone off yet. They're still lapping in the high 114s as Vettel has a look at Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton defends it this time. Will he continue to defend it? Looks to me like Vettel desperately wants to get past him. We know how good he is on a damp track, and Hamilton is getting into this fight. He wants to resist Vettel. Does he need to? No. Does he want to? Yes. He's 4th. 5th would give him the title, and the rain begins to fall harder as Giancarlo Fisichella struggles for grip in front of him on the Force India, and Lewis Hamilton is walking the tightrope here at Interlagos.
Right, intermediate time, surely it's intermediate time, because if they go past the pits and it starts to come down too heavily, they've got, it's intermediate time is here.
The advantage for Hamilton is that Massa's ahead of him on the racetrack. That's the advantage, so he doesn't have to make the first call. It's Ferrari that will make the first call, and they do it with Räikkönen, not with Massa. Interesting. Alonso pits from 2nd. What is Hamilton going to do? Is he just going to cover Massa? I guess that's what he is going to do. No, he's coming in.
He's got to come in. There's no point taking the risk, especially now that the 2 in front of him have done that.
So does Vettel, critically.
What is Glock and co going to do? If they manage to get to the end, then without losing any pace, now Hamilton needs it to rain hard.
He certainly does. This is amazing. The final stages of this World Championship. Just 5 laps to go, and nerves are jangling. David Ryan there, the veteran team manager of McLaren. He's seen a few championship fights, but this is pure drama at Interlagos. Where is Hamilton going to rejoin? That is one of the BMWs going through. Vettel critically, who was racing in for position. And it's the back marker, Robert Kubica. Or is he still a back marker? Has he played himself in a position by... No, he's a back marker. In comes the race leader, Felipe Massa. A lap later than Hamilton. You can see the flashbulbs going off. It's going dark here at Interlagos.
But it's got to rain hard now for these guys. Otherwise, for Hamilton, it's got to rain hard. Otherwise, Glock and Trulli and co are going to be on them.
Well, we need to find out where Hamilton rejoined. There is Massa. He had a healthy lead over the others. This has given Alonso a good chance as well by coming in that bit earlier.
Ted, what's going on down there? Is it actually raining at the moment?
Well, yes, but not very heavily. They do feel that more rain is on the way. I can see the clouds. They are very heavy, but I'm standing out very illegally because I'm not meant to be in the pit lane. But what the hell, it's our last race. And it is only a few spots of rain I can feel on my hand. It's not raining heavily enough yet.
If it doesn't rain, Hamilton's not going to get the World Championship. It's got to rain for that to happen now, because I'm sure they are. Well, Hamilton's still 5th. He's got Vettel behind him, 1.2. Actually, Glock has passed him, and he's 8.5 seconds behind Glock. They truly did not pass them and is going slower. Critically then, Hamilton's got to keep Vettel behind him now.
That is what he has to do with 4 laps only remaining in this Grand Prix. 4 laps separating him from the World Championship. Pure drama, pure agitation. Not a nail unbitten in the McLaren garage. And we're riding on board then with Hamilton. You can still see a few spots of rain falling. The lap times have gone off a little bit. Well, it's hard to tell who's not stopped. Let's have a look. Glock 1:18.8. Yes, the lap time's off by 3 or 4 seconds a lap at the moment.
And they're slower. Hamilton's slower than Glock and slower than Vettel. He's got to keep Vettel behind him, otherwise the championship's gone.
It's in Vettel's hands, maybe. Is he going to have a go at Hamilton and steal the world title away from him? Or is he going to just stay out of it and not bother? It's his decision. He's the youngest man in Formula One. He's already a winner, though, and we know he is a true racer. What will he do?
Right, it's not raining hard at the moment. Glock's still doing an 18.8, so it's not rained hard enough. I have to say, I think they all made the right decision in case it just came down heavily. But this is it then. 3 to go, and that's the man that can take the world title away from him.
And I'm told down at the back of the McLaren garage, Anthony Hamilton, Lewis's father, is just pacing around in circles like an expectant father in the waiting room of a maternity hospital. He's expectant, but not for a baby. He's expectant for a championship, and he can't stand the pressure. And I'm sure many of you at home cannot stand the pressure either. 3 to go in what has been a truly dramatic World Championship. Is Vettel going to spoil Hamilton's party?
Hamilton's got a bunch of traffic ahead of him. There is some of it. The Force India get out of the way because they're coming through. And Hamilton's gone wide.
Oh my goodness me, Vettel is now right with him. 2 to go. Hamilton has forced his way through. Here comes Kubica, and he passes. He passes Vettel. That's delayed Vettel a little bit. And Kubica is, well, it's a bit naughty.
Kubica's unlapped himself.
He's a lap down. He's unlapping himself. He would argue he's entitled to do that. Hamilton lets him through. So he's got grip, but Hamilton's lost it. Oh my goodness me! Vettel's taken the place, and that could cost Hamilton the World Championship.
Oh, it's
now raining hard, and that means Glock is going to be in trouble. He's in 4th place, and with just 2 laps to go, the question now is, can Timo Glock in the Toyota keep it on the island? If he cannot, then Hamilton might have a chance of getting the title back. At the moment, 6th will not do it for him.
Can you believe it? Right now, it's all down to whether Glock can handle the rain. And let's look at Glock's sector times. They're fine. Sector 1 is fine. Hamilton is not going to get the championship right now. If it doesn't rain harder, it's all about Glock now. Or can he get back at Vettel? And he's held up there behind the Honda.
Well, he's got nothing to lose now, Hamilton, in many ways. I mean, he'll be monitoring the Glock situation. He just doesn't seem to have any grip, even though he's got the right tyres on. Vettel is driving away from him. And we're entering the last lap shortly. Race leader Felipe Massa has just started the last lap. It's all about whether Hamilton wants it, whether he feels he can get back on the tail. The frustration must be colossal. He can see the back of that Toro Rosso. And that is the situation. Hamilton and Massa would be tied on points, but by virtue of the extra win for Massa, it would give the Brazilian driver the World Championship, and only 1 lap remains. Glock's sector times are perfectly healthy on the dry tyre. He's doing fine, and the championship is slipping away from Lewis Hamilton.
Right, Glock's done a 1:28, but he's 15 seconds clear of them. So Glock can tiptoe around the last lap and get the job done. Hamilton then has got to have a major attack on Vettel. Has he got the pace to do that?
And of course Vettel is powered by the Ferrari engine, so he is highly motivated. And you can see that the back of Vettel's car swirling away. Hamilton just doesn't seem to have the pace when it matters. He needs 5th or better to win the World Championship. He is currently 6th, and he runs one up late on the braking. He just needs now some luck to intervene. I said at the beginning it would come down to luck. And that's exactly what's happened. He had it all under control in the dry conditions. And in these conditions, it's all about these last few corners now. We're expecting Massa any time now. He comes through to claim his 6th victory of the season. He has done everything he needed to do. And we wait now to find out who will be the world champion of 2008. Can Hamilton do anything? Can he run it up the inside of Vettel? Only a few corners to go now, and desperation starts to creep in for Lewis Hamilton.
Raikkonen's 3rd, and is that Glock? Is that Glock going slowly?
It is, it's Glock! Oh my goodness me! Hamilton's back in position again. 1,100,000 local hearts sync in the grandstands. It's handed the place back to Hamilton. He comes through, and if I'm absolutely right, I'm sure that he is going to claim 5th place, which is all he needs to do to become the 2008 Formula One World Champion, Lewis Hamilton. And you will... Well, the Ferrari boys are celebrating.
They both think they've won it.
Ferrari are wrong. They're absolutely wrong. Hamilton's finished 5th, and Lewis, the father, has just realised that he celebrated a little bit too early. And Nicole Scherzinger, the girlfriend of Lewis Hamilton, hugs Aki Heinze, his head doctor. You will never see a more dramatic conclusion to any motor race, let alone a Grand Prix, than that. And the result of it all is that in the most harum-scarum way possible, he doesn't make it easy for himself, does he? Lewis Hamilton is the world champion.
Unbelievable. I mean, to be fair, the kid did absolutely everything right, and they couldn't take a gamble on that rain, as nor did Massa and Alonso and Raikkonen. But Glock, and Louise has found Anthony Hamilton.
Anthony, it's the moment you've been dreaming of for so many years. Anthony, just put into words your emotions right now.
I really can't find any words. Great, absolutely great, absolutely great, absolutely great.
Guys, I'm speechless. That was so freaking close. But you guys did a fantastic job all season, and you deserved it. So this is for you and to my family. Thank you for all supporting me and believing in me. You're the best.
Not only is he the world champion, he's the youngest ever Formula One world champion, the first from Britain since Damon Hill back in 1996. And what a race. I mean, we've done 206 Grand Prix as ITV. We've done some exciting ones together, you and I, over the years. I hope we'll have a chance to work together again, but I don't think you and I will ever experience anything quite as dramatic as that.
It looked like it had gone, didn't it? Unbelievable. Glock's last lap, a 1:44.7. Either he just fell off the cliff with grip from those dry tyres, just a bit too much rain.
Thank you again, guys. Thank you. I'm so proud to race for this team. Thank you.
But here is Lewis Hamilton. He joins Mike Hawthorne, Graham Hill, Jim Clark, John Surtees, Jackie Stewart, James Hunt, Nigel Mansell and Damon Hill as the 9th British driver to win the Formula One World Championship. And here is a devastated Felipe Massa. What can you say?
I wonder if they'd already told him that he virtually got it, because the Ferrari team didn't seem to be watching Glock, did they? Unbelievable.
The pictures say it all in the most dramatic circumstances possible. With 2 laps to go, he was in trouble when Vettel passed him. And there is his brother Nicholas waiting to embrace him. McLaren's first Drivers' World Championship for 9 years. And a Brazilian radio reporter finds himself right in the middle of it all. What an extraordinary way to clinch a championship. The lights are on the podium. It's so dark here now in Interlagos. And I have to say, hats off to Felipe Massa. That is sporting dignity. He deserved it just as much as Hamilton did.